are camping in the desert. Welcome inside of State Farm Stadium. This is 12 Sports Tonight on 12 Plus. I'm Cameron Cox. Of course, we are your Cardinals Camp HQ. We're also camping with the Devils up in the White Mountains. We're going to check in with the rest of our team, Jake Garcia and Lena Washington, spending all week with the Devils up at Camp T. We're also talking D-backs on deck here on 12 News post the trade deadline. But first, Cardinals camp has come to an end. So what happened? What are the big storylines out of camp? We're talking to Cardinals insider from the PHNX Cardinals podcast, Bo Brock. Your thoughts on camp? Is it we put a bow on it, wrap it up? What'd you make of Cards camp this year?
That's one way to put it, put a bow on it. I think, look, it was the most competitive camp that we've seen under Jonathan Gannon. And this is a team that's been known to scratch and claw in the regular season, but I think for the first time, just player for player, pound for pound, you saw some really good competition out there, offense versus defense. As deep as it goes all the way down to the third string, you saw some guys really putting out some tape there for themselves to make this team.
Now, why do you think we saw that? JG asked for some more friction in mini camp. I mean, they were a pretty physical team last year, the way they ran the football and somewhat controlled the line of scrimmage. Why do you think they needed to be more physical in camp?
Well, I think they needed to be there. They just could be, right? Because I think they had the talent in order to do so. Player profile guys that just are violent there as far as especially the defensive trenches. No disrespect to the guys that were here before, but it wasn't Calais Campbell. It wasn't Dalvin Tomlinson. It wasn't a healthy Darius Robinson. It's those guys in the trenches that were really kind of setting a tone, and I think that kind of just went throughout consistently this close to 3 weeks of practice.
Yeah. Ready to see what Will Johnson can do this year and have him step into the spotlight, right? This week we saw it on the field and off the field. Johnson, of course, and first-round pick Walter Nolan spending their off day at Maryville High School, hosting a back-to-school event complete with a backpack giveaway and free haircuts for the kids.
Cardinals rookie cornerback Will Johnson getting out into the community here at Maryville High School. Tell us why it was important for you to give back so quickly in your time as a Cardinal.
I think for me, that's just part of my purpose. You know, I've been given a lot from God throughout my life, and I feel like I just want to impact the youth in the right way and let them know I'm here for them and put smiles on their face and make sure they're enjoying their time out here.
And what was it like to walk around the gym, getting to meet the principals, seeing those smiles? What did that make you feel?
It's cool. I mean, it's a new area for me, so just seeing them welcome me in with open arms and be there for me as I'm trying to be there for them is definitely it's a great thing to see.
Now, I have to let you know, I had a conversation with Cardinals legend Patrick Peterson a couple weeks ago. He's already challenging you to be the next great Cardinals corner. When you hear that, what comes to mind and what aspirations or goals do you have for yourself so far?
Yeah, it means a lot. I mean, I looked up to him growing up, you know, seeing him do a lot of great things here. So hearing those great words mean he must see something in me and that I see in myself, and I want to go prove that to myself and the people around me.
It's next man up. You're already dealing with that in the cornerback room. How does that change your approach to camp, and how has the experience been so far in your first NFL training camp?
Yeah, it's sad to see because obviously I love those guys, and they've been there for me and been helping me out. So definitely tough to see. But, yeah, like you said, our coach is definitely next man up. We're all trying to get better and stack great days and make sure we're ready when that time comes.
So what would be your message to these young men and women out here who might look forward to being the next great thing out of Arizona, the next great Cardinal, the next great Wolverine? What would be your message to them to get there?
I would just say keep the faith, like you said earlier. You know, stay down, stay motivated, and disciplined in what you do, and that'll take you a long way.
As we look forward to this season, what can Will Johnson do out there at State Farm Stadium?
I plan on making a lot of plays and winning a lot of games, so I can't wait for it.
What's it been like to watch him through training camp? Have you been out there yet to Glendale to see your son in action?
I've been at every practice, every public practice. I haven't missed one. I mean, it's like, you know, for me, it's like living a dream. I mean, you know, it's something that he's always worked hard. He wanted to be, you know, get to this level at a young age, and I've seen him over the years work, you know, hours and hours, you know, so finally, kind of like a lot of that hard work is paying off to the point where he's here. So now he understands that he has to take it up another level to achieve what he's achieved on the other levels on this level. So he understands the work that it takes to get it done at a high level, and I'm excited to see what he does this year.
What's your message to the Bird Gang? What kind of player are they getting out of Will Johnson?
They're going to get a leader, somebody that's going to work hard, somebody that's going to be somebody that's going to pull the guys along like he did at Michigan. Let's get some extra work. Somebody that's going to be great in the community, somebody that's going to represent the organization well, and somebody that's going to go out on the field and, you know, do great things.
Well,
What's up, Arizona? Thanks for watching us on 12 Plus. Lena Washington and Jake Garcia here at Camp Tontozona, day 1 of practice here for the Sun Devils. Jake, it's your first time out here. You're getting to experience what it's like to be part of this Sun Devil rite of passage. What did you make of day 1 here at Camp T?
Well, this is one of the most unique settings in college football, right? The backdrop of the trees and the mountains, the high elevation, really testing these players and their conditioning and their aerobic capacity. I felt it a little bit just walking up and down these hills just to get to the field. But picturesque, beautiful place to watch a college football practice. And despite Kenny Dillingham not thinking it was his team's best work today, I think they still got something out of it.
It was a decent day. Like I told the guys, I didn't think it was our best day, not our worst day. It's just a decent day. First day up here, it is different, altitude. It is hot. I know people say it's hot in Phoenix. It's hot here because you're closer to the sun and you're on turf. So it's a little bit different. So to be out here, 2 hours and change with walkthrough, that is taxing, but I thought the guys did a good job. Decent energy, not great. Up here is where you really get to know things about your guys that you don't know, right? We have fire pits at night where you talk about yourself, what your why is. You kind of go in depth about, what makes you you and what makes you tick, what have been your biggest obstacles in life. And you really get to know people at a deeper level. And I think that's what builds people together. That's what builds the comfort to be yourself. I see guys out here today, Ben Alfeo he's said about 4 words since he got here, and we're in that little deal the other day. Last night, he pops out and does a dance. I'm like, oh my gosh. So that's what he is behind closed doors. That's Ben. He's just not comfortable yet. And that fires me up to see the personalities of these guys, and I know that eventually people will all be comfortable here to be themselves all the time. Turbo's a great example of that transition from uncomfortable to comfortable, and so it's really fun to see those guys transition into they can just be themselves. I think this is a big part of it, and maybe last year everybody was so new you didn't get as deep into your why. Maybe you were a little shy. I think every year that you're around the same people, you can dig a little bit deeper. People are a little bit more comfortable, which makes a bigger bond, right? A longer bond. So, I think it's a little different because guys know each other. But at the end of the day, last year's history, it's awesome that we did it. It's cool, but come on, it's over last year. This is this year. We have teams in our league that have unbelievable talent. Teams in our league that are loaded. And we have to take it one game at a time. And like we talked about last year, it's can we just get this one? Can we just get this game? Can we just get this day? Can we just get this moment? And then celebrate, cry, whatever it is at the end of that moment, and do it again. And the teams who do that the best win. I wish I had a why. I think everybody's got a different why. I think the question is, can you put your individual why aside to say, let's go do something special? Because at the end of the day, individual accolades come and go. To have success in a silo is boring. Imagine if your entire life is you're the most successful person and you lived in a silo. Is that actually success? Well, who are you successful to? Nobody. The biggest thing about college football is team success breeds individual success. And I think our guys have bought into team success beats individual success. And what success is just being the best we can be every day. And if we do that, then one day we're going to wake up and we're going to be celebrating. One day we're going to wake up and then there's going to be individual celebrations, and you're going to have somebody to celebrate with other than yourself. You're going to have a crew of teammates that are constantly calling you, texting you like Scat does, right, asking how you're doing. I think that is success, is when you become older, when you become my age, people still text you. You still matter to people. Your relationships and what you did to people mattered. And I think that's what really I hope that our guys take away from this program is that people make everything. The people make your life, people make football, people make the place. If you pour into people, people will pour into you back, and you'll wake up one day and say, holy cow, you're the head coach at Arizona State. I try to make this place a place that people look forward to, right? Less than a grind. I'm all about the grind. I'm all about that. I think you come up here to build relationships. I think that's priority A is relationships here. It could rain, we may never practice up here, and if that were to happen, we would still come up here because priority A is the relationships, team camaraderie. So I wouldn't say hard, I would say the challenges of these facilities are hard. It's a different hard. We have a 340-pounder sleeping on a single mattress on a one spring bed up top, falling down at night because he has to go to the bathroom and waking everybody up, stumbling over the person on the ground, and then they scream and 40 people wake up, right? Whether that happened or not, I don't know. I just made that story up, but it sounds real, right? And the real challenge is, I think it's that. I think the challenge is of, you're probably a little tired. It's not as easy. You're not comfortable, is what this place brings. You're not comfortable, but guess what? You're not comfortable, but they have more fun than they ever have back in Phoenix. I think it's our job to inspire people to want to be here, inspire people to attack difficult, not run from difficult. And if our program is not inspiring people to attack difficult, attack challenges, attack change, I think we're failing. And guess what? We will fail. It's part of it. Every growth structure, you've never seen anybody grow like that. There's growth, there's failure. There's growth, there's failure. There's growth, there's failure. But at the end of this thing, 5, 7, 8 years, are we up here? And that's the real challenge, is through the failures, can you still end up higher than you were? And I think that's our job as coaches, is there's going to be struggles, but how do we get them to continue to grow?
It's definitely different, like last year at this time, I was still fighting for a job. I was still competing with Jeff. Had a lot of belief in myself. Not a lot of people had a lot of belief in me leading up to this point. So it was definitely a different outlook. I came out here last night and did my stretching routine like I did last year. And it was just a cool memory, to get back to your roots and, just kind of look out here. This reminds me a lot of back home where I'm from. So just to, get back in that mindset and understand, the work that you put in and then to get to this point, pretty cool. Yeah, just being out here, like I said last night, looking under the stars, not much light pollution. Trees, it was a full moon or close to last night, so it was a vibe. I just sat out here and really enjoyed it. Yeah, it's different than last year. We were cool coming at this point last year, but we didn't really start getting tight until we started winning games last year. And, so this year, we're really tight. And that can be helpful and hurtful in some ways. It can be helpful because, we have camaraderie and stuff like that. But, now do guys feel too comfortable with each other to not push each other, not push each other's buttons and things like that. So we got to kind of find that. And, we've done a really good job in practicing pretty hard. So just continue to harp on that.
When Jordan has to come out or is out of the rotation or we got to give him a break, whatever it may be, they know that's where the gap needs to be shrunk. Right, because they've got to step their game up. We've got to rely on other people. They know they want the ball. Well, that's your opportunity to get the ball and really be in position to do that. And I think that there's going to be times where Jordan, everyone's going to know where he's at. And so you got to have your opportunities. And so guys like Malik are probably a guy who's been in the system 2 years. I talked about him preseason, a guy who's really come along, matured, body's in the right place, really had an amazing vigor about him as he's moved into summer and spring and now into fall training camp. But that group is going to get better every day. Jaren's a transfer who's learning the offense. Moss, another transfer, has put a lot of games in a similar system with Coach Tedford and what he did. And so all those guys are starting to really shrink that gap, and I think that's when you start to get really good at the core. The explosive piece of our philosophy and having explosive plays is at the forefront. We track every explosive play. There's a certain percentage that we want to hit at every practice. I track every one of them. For each one, we're over 300 reps now, which is going to be close to 7 games worth of 4 games worth, if 75 plays is give or take an average. And so I think those explosive abilities for play calls are still there with those guys. We got to find them in whichever ways, whether it's a matchup, whether it's a certain guy in certain positions. If you got to take Jordan out of the mix, if Scott's gone, someone's got to make up for it. And right now, that percentage is where we want through 7 practices. So that's good to see. It'd be something that we'd have to really keep an eye on, and we do, to find out, to make sure those pieces are the pieces that can really win games.
So what the kids would call a mid-practice for the Sun Devils, but we heard from the offensive players today, the superstar Sam Levitt, the running backs, who are really kind of part of this question mark position group because, of course, the nation got to know Cameron Scadaboo last season. Now who is that next man up? They've got a bunch of Browns and a lot of talent in that room, and you got to talk to some of those guys.
3 Browns, Raleek Brown, Kyson Brown, and Jason Brown, who's going into his second season here with the Sun Devils. The one guy who I was focused on today, though, is Kanye Udoh, the transfer from Army. He's really the power to all of the Browns' speed element that they bring to this offense. I asked Kyson Brown, can you tell that Kanye Udoh transferred in from Army, the way that he carries himself, the way that he runs the football on the field. And he said he kind of just acts like a soldier. This is a guy who is super tough. He's super disciplined. Obviously, his experience at the service academy helps a little bit with that, but I think it's also partly to do with his personality. We spotlighted him earlier today on 12 News. Give it a look. The ASU running backs have taken their battle to Camp T, which means Kanye Udoh has them right where he wants them. If there's anyone who has the survival skills for this place, it's the guy who transferred to ASU from Army. But Udoh isn't just trying to survive, he's trying to outshine a crowded room. He knows a strong finish to fall camp could put him in line for the week 1 start.
The cadence of the ASU offense, not an exact translation to a left, 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 right, left march, but Kanye Udoh is starting to grasp the concepts nonetheless.
Nothing's ever going to be perfect, but as long as you have that mindset that you're going to control what you can control and just be where your feet are, you'll be all right.
Udoh's feet are in some big shoes. Replace Cam Scadaboo, the direct order. Udoh optimistic about the operation.
I follow all running backs in college football. That's just what I do. I watch all the college football games, so I definitely knew who he was. I saw what he was doing, even like early on. Like I remember the Mississippi State game. I watched it. I was like, yeah, this guy's serious.
Udoh is pretty serious himself.
His actions, the way he moves, he just moves just like, I don't know, it kind of give you that soldier type of, vibe.
Kyson Brown and Udoh have gotten tight because they're in a tight battle for the starting job. Then there's the bevy of backups. Sparkplug Raleek Brown.
We got a lot of options back there, and it's going to be hard to stop us.
Who teammates say replaces the scat in Scadaboo.
If you guys don't know, Raleek, that guy can go.
And Jason Brown himself, who redshirted his first season, but is now out for blood.
This is the most talented room in the country, in my opinion, so if you're not going out there doing the right things, opportunity is going to be very limited, and I'm just trying to create opportunity for myself.
A job that doesn't just fall on one soldier's back. The former soldier of the group puts it all in perspective.
He was Cam Scadaboo, and I'm Kanye Udoh. Just being the best version of myself because nobody can be a better version of me than me.
Udoh joins the Big 12 champs after spending last season with the AAC champs. He rushed for over 1,000 yards, had 10 touchdowns, and the lowest stuff rate in the country. He's in good hands with Sean Aguano. He's been the position coach for 4 running backs who went on to play in the NFL.
As you might imagine, it takes a village to execute a 5-day stay for 200 people up in Payson. We saw the efforts it takes to not only fuel these athletes, but to provide the amenities from Tempe up at Camp T for a great week of practice.
It's a lot for these boys to stay up here for 5 days, so we try to make them as comfortable as possible.
Comfort at Camp T means ordering more than 200 bed sheets, sleeping bags, earplugs, and flashlights for the players. But with this being Lexi Godfrey's 5th trip up with the team, she knows the most important thing to bring is the right mindset.
Just enjoying the nature, enjoying being up north and getting out of Phoenix for a little bit, out of our comfort zones is kind of the main thing for me. Just making sure the energy is as good as it can be.
When it comes to feeding the team, Sun Devil Hospitality has to go big, sending 3 full trailers with food for the week.
We have about 350 pounds of pork ribs, beef ribs, close to 200 pounds of chicken, a couple hundred pounds of mac and cheese. Yeah, it's a lot of food, man. When you're fielding athletes, they eat a lot, and they enjoy it. So they'll eat 3 times what you or I'll eat, that's for sure.
But that's not all. They even have food trucks pulling up after practice. That's when you might see running back Kyson Brown coming in hot for a cold treat.
My favorite part about the food is the snow cones. They always bring the snow cone truck out here, so that's what I'm looking forward to.
When we arrived for the first morning practice, we saw the remnants of s'mores by the campfire next to the practice field. So hopefully the crew brought enough marshmallows to fuel these fellas as they continue bonding here in the wilderness.
So the question that everyone on the outside is asking is, can this trio of running backs, and 4 if you count Jason Brown, replace the production from Cam Scadaboo? And I asked those guys that question. Is that motivating? Is that a driving factor? To sort of be living in someone's shadows who's not even here anymore.
Living in a giant's shadow.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, see, that's why they pay you the big bucks. But with Cam Scadaboo, obviously he meant so much to this Sun Devil team, but I thought Kanye Udoh put it really well. He said, Cam Scadaboo's Cam Scadaboo, I'm Kanye Udoh. I'm going to do something completely different, and that's going to be enough to make this team successful on the ground.
Well, they were successful last year. It started up here in Payson, building to that Big 12 Conference Championship, the appearance in the College Football Playoff, and we're expecting a record turnout here on Saturday for the open practice. Sun Devil Nation's coming down. They're taking buses. If you plan on getting here, get here early because they shut down the highway for parking, and you will have to haul a little bit to get out here, but it's worth it. No other experience like this really in college football. football, and 12 Sports has you covered with behind-the-scenes access, sound, and all the look that you might want to get from these Sun Devils this year. He's Jake Garcia. I'm Lena Washington. We're up at Camp Tontozona, and we appreciate you joining us here on 12 Plus.
How weird is it coming back here, missing some of the teammates that started the year on this club?
Yeah, I'm unfortunate for sure. We didn't really put ourselves in a position that gave the front office and ownership to go out to add to this ball club. So yeah, tough. I mean, Gino's been here for a couple of years. Naylor's been here most of the year. Gritchick's been here a couple of years. So tough. And then the guy who would reside right there for 7 years is tough. But I mean, we're happy for those guys that they get to go play for some teams that are in the hunt and see what can happen. But by no means does that mean we're completely out of it. We got a lot left to prove from I think a lot of guys from an individual standpoint, from a team standpoint, from an organizational standpoint. So yeah, I mean, obviously a little bit weird, but we got to be able to stand there and take accountability that we just didn't give them a shot to go to add to this team. So, but I mean, the deadline over, distractions over. It's just time to just play good baseball and play the standard of baseball that we expect from ourselves here.
Your name was obviously thrown around at the deadline. Surprised you're still here, and are you glad to still be part of this team?
Yeah, of course I'm glad to be here. Live here. This has been pretty much full-time home for the last 3 years. So, for me to be able to come home, sleep in my bed, see my fiance, see my dog, as opposed to maybe not being able to see them for 2, potentially 3 months, is a huge added bonus for me. It's organization that means a lot to me. Hayes and, the whole entire staff we're very transparent with that. So, yeah, it was a little bit weird kind of, sitting there and not knowing what potentially could happen. I kind of had a feeling that I was going to be here. I knew just, with all those things with the trade and just the value that I knew Hayes was trying to kind of recoup if he were to move me, was going to be fairly high just from, a bunch of different factors. So I felt pretty safe in that sense. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad to be here. That's the ultimate, bottom line.
Did you appreciate him meeting with the team the other day, and what did you make of his message to you guys?
Yeah, I think so. I think I know Hayes. I mean, I've been here now 7 years. He's not one to necessarily address the team. He kind of leaves that to the leaders in the clubhouse, and then Torrey and whoever feels like they need to stand up and say something. So I think it was good for some of the younger guys to hear, his kind of thoughts and where his head was at and what kind of, boiled down to that last minute decision, not last minute decision, but, what ultimately led him to make the decisions that he had to make. And then I think it was good to hear from, some of the older guys, some of the guys who've been here, myself included, of just kind of, where things stand, what he expects from us, going forward the next 50 or so games, how many we have left. So yeah, I think it was good just to kind of hear what he had to say, and yeah, I think we responded to it pretty good. Obviously, the first night after he met with us, we didn't play amazing, but I think we came back and kind of answered the bell the last 2 days, and able to win a series against a team that's been pretty hot, and especially when they play at home.
And that'll do it for this edition of 12 Sports Tonight on 12 Plus. We'll see you right back here Sunday night for 12 Sports Tonight at 10:30, Arizona's longest running sports show. Don't forget, we're taking this show on the road next week. We'll be out in Denver for joint practices with the Broncos. We'll see you then up there in the Mile High City. Good night. God bless.